Welcome.
Freedom as we
Spice Lab, I see you in there. My Nichelle, honey, welcome back. Shout out to everybody coming back. Thank y'all for riding with us on this poetry threesome. Menage a trois, you know how we do it. We appreciate y'all riding with us for real. Send out those kites. Get everybody back in the room. I see our feature just popped back up in here. So, about to bring him up in a moment. Send out those kites. Let everybody know we back. Back up in here. Send those planes out. Send out the planes.
what up, what up, what up?
How you doing this evening, sir?
No, I don't know. I thought y'all didn't want me. I was going to go to sleep.
Oh no, it's good to have you here this evening. Where you coming in from?
Set your chocolate from Kansas City.
I couldn't even say the character after that one.
I know. I hit you with that shit.
Right, yeah, you fucked me up with that one.
And then I put you on the screen shit. I did like this. Some of that in your life.
Don't have me do my shit on you. You know I do my shit.
Oh, well, black skin. Get your black skin. No, no, no,
All right,
no,
don't
no.
fuck
Right.
around then.
You can't do
Don't
that
fuck
while I'm doing. You
around.
can't do that while I'm doing the pieces I'm doing tonight. Hell no. Hell no.
So you don't mess around. I go and get my TV screen
Nah,
on
you
you,
got it.
boy.
I ain't even
Hey,
fucking with you like that. You got it. Done. You got it.
oh man.
Done.
So you
Yeah.
got it, bro. The floor is yours, man.
All right. So I'm gonna run through a couple um back to back because I'm gonna take you on a journey. So it's gonna be a couple. I'm gonna do three pieces back to back nonstop. Just roll right into them. So then I'll come back to you and check the time. All right. Y'all ready? At first it was a breeze, and it felt like heaven found your skin and made you to know what love felt like with a simple kiss. We danced and sang every worship song known to our dear people. You know, God knew our names back then. Back when He could hear us pray, when He spoke our language, before they came for us. The traffickers who saw the mighty in our backs, a time before they changed our tribal wardrobes to leg irons and rusted chains. It was these men, those men, evil spirited and barbaric, hoisting bodies into dungeons at the bottom of slave ships, men and women, innocent children ripped from the arms of their mothers. And now we're at sea, rolling to the rough, shark infested waters, heading into the arms of foreigners, following the same paths and wind gusts that bring themselves to become hurricanes. We've become cargo. The niggas not worthy of death, they made us the sideshow along the middle passes. God, can you hear us? Can you see the tears streaming from places deeper than our hunger pains, deeper than fear? Can you see this fear? But these still waters are relentless. Our spirits are begging for our native tongue. No one wants to hear me speak. No one cares that death is calling me by my first name. These chains are so heavy. Why can't my mama Hear me. These pirates have taken my baby. These men are being taken, beaten, but broken, and no one is coming to save us. Why do they hate us and need us at the same time? What makes this skin color dull and worthless and unworthy of freedom? Shh. They are coming, and no one is coming to save us. And the singing rivers whispered songs, family treasures lost in storms. But I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And the singing river, whistling past the dawn and dusk without prejudice. Unto the morning, the marching feet carry themselves to and fro as the day engulfs itself once again. Question: how do we see ourselves? Knowing we live in a land where our ancestors fought religiously for freedom and still fight for freedom, as we still fight for freedom, fight and war against the theories that mirror the same color schemes of green, black, and white. The shading that always says me before we and them before us. It's the tumbling rocks that no one hears until its final crash. Lo, be thy name, woe unto the faces that smile as they sold the Africans, those who was help me signs but could not speak the language of the bounty men, the Africans whose necks were scrapes and iron chains and nightmares. Oh, how the singing rivers cry for those folks. How it snickers to the memories of pregnant African women leaping over the edge of slave ships. How those hurricanes call their names. Oh, how those hurricanes call their names. And still, there was a big tree that stood in front of the big house. So tall its leaves seemed to scrape the bottom of heaven's stairway. Mama said many bodies gave up the ghosts hanging from those limbs. She said those babies clung to their mammy's arms for dear life, and she could do nothing but pray her falling tears could wash away these horrible images. She prayed so hard with that mean massa and his guests standing with approval signs on their faces and them big old smiles. I guess that's all they could do back then. I guess that's when her nightmare started. I guess that's when it all started. But they said Master Tom was a good old master. That's what they said. They said he was so good he shared his first name on the birth certificate of every first-born male slave. It was an honor to them, I suppose. Not sure I agree with them, but I suppose they meant well. I bet those black men had to tuck their pride deeper than their desire for freedom and fresh water. Guess that's all a nigga could do back then, because that's all we were. Niggas and slave boys and slave girls, because age ain't never meant much beyond your color. And those folks made a liking to it. I tell you how mama said you wasn't even allowed to breathe without their permission in those days. Couldn't even die lest master said so. And often mama said that depended on the house guest at the time. Oh, Master Tom loved putting on a show for the mean old crackers. Showed up around there every time, the same time they found out what picnic meant. By that time, it was already too late. The overseers would chase you down before the hog roasted. Mama said, always wondered why that tree stood so sturdy, wondered why its trunk weathered the many storms that we barely survived back then. Figured either Master had him a mighty God, or that tree was just large enough to hide us from the vision that God already knew. Mama Mama used to say God didn't speak that language we were taught. Said God forgot about us after they stole us from our homes. I suppose she was right. Guess that's why Master gave us a God that looked exactly like him and stopped us from praying in the language that only our God knew. My God, Mama said, you couldn't believe the whooping they put on you for getting that master tongue and how hard it was to learn. Everything sounded the same and meaning everything else. Words like almost that never had no translation. So whether it was or was not, that's all Mama knew. And she talked about that evil overseer running around poking at your boy or girl. Never mattered to him. He just went on about his business, having his way, which is sometimes they make the entire plantation watching, working over a grown man's backside. Little babies, husbands, and wives. Mama said it was God awful. Said she wished God could have heard them cries that followed them back peeling whippings. Wish he had one glance past that big old tree, but there we were, hidden under a last name and servitude. Just niggas hanging around waiting for a day that white folks would set us free. And today, we still waiting. I can't see them falling down my eyes, so I gotta make the song cry. Can't see them rolling down my eyes, so I gotta make the song cry. When they ask me about my story, I will remind them of the extras. I remind them of the vacancy signs that hang from my dreams. Tell them about the rumbling sound that splatters Hert's favorite color along the walls of my bedroom. When they ask about my happiness and what it sounds like, I will tell them it rhymes with Godspeed. I tell them it feels like an eviction letter and a padlock, like an unwanted freedom who's married to Lonely's liberated widow. I will tell them it feels like being laid off from your dream career. I tell them it tastes like burnt coffee. It smells like disposition. It feels like Monday morning hangovers and Etta James singing about a Sunday kind of love. I will remind them how much it sounds like that singing voice I've always wished for. Like the vacation trip that I will never have the expenses for, like the next door neighbor who always forgets my address around the holidays. I hope my story reminds them of tone deaf dancing feet waiting to hear music that will never play. I hope it forces them to question my existence when the light no longer bounces my shadow along the walkway. I will remind them of my vitamin D deficiency because I'm most comfortable going outside at night. I will tell them about the closing doors that no one else sees, how this demon holds me hostage, how it chokes sleep out of my conversations, how mighty I look on a microphone yet never see the frightened little boy that hides behind my shining eyes. See, no one knows how the real story comes to an end. But when they ask about my story, I promise to remind them that my story starts off with a crooked smile. Blood soaking the back of my tongue, heavy nerve damage, my taste buds seasoned by a 38 special bullet. I will tell them I purposely hide my goals because I am afraid of the nightmares, the one that makes sleep as common as finding loose change, like getting off work without using your PTSD, your PTO time. So when they ask about my story, I will tell them that it is not a cute one. I will tell them it's no fun living in ruin. It doesn't feel like your favorite sitcom. It's more like wearing a noose around my smiles, choking on the cleft notes of my favorite ballad. And sometimes my story doesn't even seem real. What's up, family? How y'all doing in there?
Wow, boy,
Yeah, I want to
amazing.
take y'all on a little journey, something
Yeah,
different. So
definitely
hopefully,
did that. So me
yeah,
and the
yeah.
damn chats. You get, I don't know. You can be able to catch it through all of that, but they in the chat acting up.
That's
So
what's up.
definitely serious. Well, I
That's what's up.
appreciate that shit.
Yeah. Try to do something, I wanted to give a journey rather than just drop pieces that don't kind of roll, rather just roll them together and come back
Mm.
here. Bang, what up? Bang is in the building.